This video is about Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy and their differences. When clients first call us for a free consultation, the very first appointment that we would meet with you, one of the first things I tell clients is if you can do a bankruptcy, you want to do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If you can't, then, or for very certain reasons, you would do a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. A Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a quick bankruptcy, is what I would call it. It lasts about 4 to 6 months long. You saw the video about the process that you would go through to get your case filed. So if we file your case as a Chapter 7, about 3 or 4 or 5 months later, your case would complete and close. It's all over with. There's no payments you make other than any debts that you wish to keep in terms of a secure debt like a car or a house. Those are generally what most people would do. So for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, all your unsecured debt would be wiped out. Judgments, credit cards, medical bills would just go away. It's a very quick and easy bankruptcy. However, some people don't qualify for Chapter 7. Maybe their income is greater than the average income for their household size, and those are things that we would go over with in the first appointment, and I would explain if that's the case, and I would show you. But if you don't qualify for a Chapter 7 or for other reasons, then if you wanted to do bankruptcy, your only choice is to do a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. However, let's say you do qualify for a Chapter 7. There's certain reasons and certain benefits and advantages that you would get in a Chapter 13 that would cause you to file a Chapter 13. When we meet for the very first time, we go through all those scenarios. We will go through your exact financial situation, and I will explain to you, hey, you don't qualify for a Chapter 7, you have to do a 13 if you want to do bankruptcy. Or you can't do a 13, you must do a 7. We will go through all those different things. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy is important to note. That's a bankruptcy that lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 years. You can't go into a Chapter 13 bankruptcy any less than 3 years long, and you can't go any longer than 5 years. The reason for that time period is in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, it's unlike a Chapter 7. You actually have a monthly payment. That monthly payment is a payment that you pay to the bankruptcy trustee. He acts as an accountant, if you want to say, collects that money, and then he disperses it to your creditors. Now the question, or a lot of things that clients tell me is, well, if I could pay back all my creditors, then why would I even need bankruptcy? Well, in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you are not necessarily paying back all your creditors. A lot of times you're only paying the debts that you want to keep, and generally those are secure debts, like a house. Maybe you're behind on the house. You can take the amount that you're behind on the house, pay it in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy interest-free. Usually that's a lot easier and cheaper for people to afford to kind of get caught up on their house situation. Or a lot of times with a car, for example, some people that come to me have a high interest rate on their car, anywhere from 8, 9, 10% to 20% interest rate on the car. In Chapter 13 bankruptcy, I could change that interest rate to, at this current time, to 5.25%. That interest rate varies, but right now for several years it's been 5.25%. Those are favorable terms that we can get in a Chapter 13 to where it starts to make it more affordable or financially better to actually do a Chapter 13 as opposed to a Chapter 7. But again, I would say that those are mathematical calculations that I would do for you to determine, and I will show you exactly, if you do a Chapter 7, what would be your budget for that month? What would be your income and your expenses, and then how much would you still have to outlay, and how much would you have left over? In a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, I would show you the same thing, and I could show you whether or not that Chapter 13 would even be better for you. Is it going to improve your situation? Sometimes I have clients that are paying thousands of dollars, on their credit cards per month, and we can reduce that even to zero, no money being paid to those credit cards. Or in some situations, Chapter 13, depending on your income or the amount of assets you have, you might have to make some payment to your unsecured creditors. Maybe you have to pay back 5% of those debts, maybe 10%. Again, that's still better off than if you didn't file bankruptcy. Those are basically the things that we would go over with in the first appointment, the free consultation. So it's impossible to give you those, the preciseness on your exact scenario. So if you want to give us a call for a free consultation, or look at some of the articles within the website that kind of try to explain that. But again, just remember, everybody's situation is very, very different. So feel free to call, set up a free consultation, and I will do an exact analysis of what's going on, and we will decide whether you should do a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 bankruptcy.